Ladies and gentlemen, in the latest and most disconcerting reports, it has come to light that the protracted conflict between the governments of Ethiopia and Eritrea is reaching a perilous crescendo, with the ominous spectre of a full-fledged military confrontation hanging ominously over the region. These developments have been brought to the forefront by at least two prominent Ethiopian media outlets, and their implications demand thorough consideration and analysis. One of these influential media platforms, Ethio 360, has disseminated information that indicates Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made an alarming declaration during the concluding session of a training seminar organized for members of the ruling Prosperity Party, PP, in Adama, a city nestled within the Oromia region. In this address, Prime Minister Abiy astonishingly conveyed the intention of his government not merely to recapture control of the strategic port of Assab, but to extend Ethiopia's sovereignty over the entirety of Eritrea. This proclamation, if substantiated, represents a seismic shift in the rhetoric and ambitions of the Ethiopian leadership concerning the Eritrean regime, raising profound questions about the region's future stability and the potential for military conflict on an unprecedented scale. Simultaneously, Ethioforum has reported that Ethiopia's Army Chief of Staff, Berhanu Jula, articulated a similarly bellicose stance during a high-level meeting convened to assess the military situation in the Amhara and Oromia regions. In a stark and unequivocal statement, Berhanu Jula advocated for the formal designation of Shabia, referring to Eritrea's regime as an enemy of Ethiopia. This official proclamation underscores the escalating tensions and the looming spectre of military hostilities between these two neighboring nations, with far-reaching ramifications for regional security and stability. Adding to this already disconcerting narrative, multiple sources have purportedly conveyed that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, in a private meeting attended by hundreds of government officials, disclosed his intent to obliterate the Eritrean government and annex Eritrea to Ethiopia. Such a revelation, if authenticated, not only represents an extraordinary departure from Ethiopia's previous stance, but also serves as an alarming indicator of the gravity of the situation. It underscores the high-stakes nature of the current geopolitical landscape in the Horn of Africa, with the potential for widespread repercussions. However, the precarious state of affairs is not confined to rhetoric alone, but is further exacerbated by the ongoing military conflicts within Ethiopia's borders. The Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF, find themselves ensnared in intense and protracted battles with Amhara Fano forces across multiple fronts within the Amhara region. Additionally, the Ethiopian military is embroiled in confrontations with the Oromo Liberation Army in the Oromia region. Disturbingly, recent reports underscore that the ENDF has sustained significant casualties in the Amhara region, with the city of Gondar, the second most populous in the region, witnessing ferocious fighting. These losses, coupled with the relentless nature of the conflicts, are placing severe strain on Ethiopia's military capabilities, raising concerns about the nation's ability to manage an escalation in hostilities. Moreover, the conflicts are not contained to specific locales, but are progressively expanding to engulf additional areas within the Amhara territory, further exacerbating the already dire humanitarian and security crisis. It is imperative to recognize that these developments are unfolding against the backdrop of a stretched and beleaguered Ethiopian military, which is grappling with the demands of simultaneous, multi-front conflicts. This exacerbates concerns regarding the nation's capacity to effectively respond to and manage an escalation of hostilities. In the midst of these harrowing circumstances, the revelation of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's stated intention to annihilate the Eritrean government and annex Eritrea to Ethiopia, made in a private meeting with government officials, assumes particular gravity. If substantiated, such a declaration possesses the potential to not only radically reshape the geopolitical landscape of the Horn of Africa, but also to further inflame the existing conflicts within Ethiopia with severe regional and international implications. Recent statements from Ethiopian officials regarding access to the Red Sea have raised concerns among journalists and observers, with many considering them dangerously irresponsible. It is important to highlight that if the hard-won peace between Eritrea and Ethiopia were to collapse, it would be primarily due to the incompetence of the latter's leadership. However, if the intention behind such rhetoric is to create a new agenda aimed at swaying public opinion in support of the Abiy regime, it is likely to fall short of its intended impact. Such tactics simply won't work. In the midst of various efforts to diversify its ports, Ethiopia stands to gain a crucial advantage: uninterrupted, secured, and direct access to the Red Sea, as suggested by a seasoned diplomat, Ambassador Girum Abiy. When approached by the Ethiopian Herald, Ambassador Girum underscored the vital importance of uninterrupted access to the Red Sea for Ethiopia, emphasizing that it serves as a lifeline for Africa's second most populous nation. Ethiopia's import-export activities are heavily reliant on the Red Sea route, with the country being a mere 48.8 kilometers away from its nearest shores. The pressing question today revolves around how Ethiopia can ensure a guaranteed and uninterrupted access to the Red Sea. Ambassador Girum Abiy noted that the mechanisms for landlocked nations to access the sea are, to a large extent, similar to those Ethiopia has been utilizing for centuries. In the view of Ambassador Girum, the most viable alternative for Ethiopia is to utilize neighboring ports in a manner that ensures uninterrupted and secure import-export activities while maintaining a focus on port diversification. Currently, Ethiopia finds itself in a favorable position to leverage various ports along the Red Sea. Under the United Nations Convention, landlocked countries are entitled to access the sea through neighboring nations. This right necessitates discussion, negotiation, and mutual agreement. All neighboring countries should recognize Ethiopia's consistent economic growth and be willing to resolve any hindrances to its access to the sea that could adversely affect the well-being of its people and business operations. Ambassador Girum emphasized that major powers acknowledge Ethiopia's right to secure uninterrupted and secured access to the sea,